Good morning, good morning, good morning, good afternoon. I hope you're having a fantastic bloody day. In fact, the best day of your life. And I'm here to help you out if you're struggling a little bit with your nutrition. So we're going to start this in 2 minutes as we warm up and let a few persons come in for a little vibe. And then we are getting right into this. So how's your week been, guys? I hope you've had a splendid start to the week. Pissing down here in Canada as normal, so hopefully some Australian sun coming up in the next few weeks. Looking so forward to being able to get back there and run an epic retreat. And if you, for the girls, that is, and if you don't know already and you haven't saved the date, you need to save the date. Saturday, the 13th of April, for a little catch up on the Central Coast. Would love to be able to do a stomp and a walkout. And a workout with you guys. That would be bloody amazing. Guys, we're kicking off in 1 minute. This live is going to be how to do nutrition when things get really difficult. Because let's face it, it's not always perfect. Okay? It's not always perfect. And I think the mistake is to think that you're failing when stuff gets hard, when the reality is, if you're ambitious and you're doing stuff in your life, you're probably not in this very peaceful zone all of the time, right? And so that's what we're going to be talking about here. 20 seconds till we kick off. Good morning, Ash. Good morning, Ange. I hope you're having a great day. And if you do watch this on replay, please hashtag replay, guys. And we are going to kickstart this. Now, just letting you guys know, if you are waiting on your merch and you're part of Better Body Academy, we've just dropped it off at the printers and excited to bring this to Australia as well. So good. Okay, let's get started, guys. On the count of 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's go. Welcome back to the Better Body Academy podcast. This is the podcast that you come to when you're sick of the dumb diets and unsustainable workout programs, coming to you with another little podcast snack. And so what I want to talk about here, guys, is the idea of how you do nutrition when your bandwidth has been exceeded. Now, I'm going to tell you guys the reason I'm actually doing this quick live. Because one of our boys, who is an absolute legend of a dude, his name is Mr. Tom Heaton, and he did a challenge with us. He's recently upgraded to our main program, and he did so at a time which was when he was just going into renovations. Okay? I'm going to kind of paraphrase what he's mentioned to us. I'm not where I need to be at the moment. Do you know how often I hear that comment? I'm not where I need to be at the moment. No one is. So if you feel that message coming through in your head, I'm not where I need to be at the moment, just understand that you probably never will be. You're always living life in a gap. He mentioned some days are good, some days are bad, but being displaced at the moment and not living at home because I'm doing renovations is making it a little bit difficult to stick to the plan like we were 2 weeks ago when life wasn't as all over the place. So give me a silent head nod if you can absolutely understand that. So whatever the cause of your challenge is, might be kids, might be someone is ill, it might be you've been sick, it might be work is making you work back a lot. It might be, like my client Troy, stress in his business at the highest level. Whatever it is for you, it doesn't matter. What's true is that life is going to have struggles at times. And anyone that, looks on the surface, including myself, like they're doing it really easy, no. It's an absolute lie of social media. So let's instead have a real conversation about how you can make nutrition work. And I'm going to use a resource that's freely available to you guys in Better Body Academy. I'm just going to talk you through 50 odd changes in quick fire form that you can do without needing to be there with MyFitnessPal tracking your nutrition. Before we go into these, I think it's important because so many of us say, I just have no time. Okay, let me just make a point here. Going for a walk takes time. Going to the gym takes time. But eating, you have to eat. You have to eat. whether it's driving somewhere to get the food. I guess the exception's probably getting Uber Eats delivered to your front door. But for the most part, you have to dedicate some amount of time to feeding yourself. And so in that moment, you've just got to work out what decision is going to be better for you. And this is not about being perfect. So on your screen, if you're watching on video, I'm going to display 2 pieces that are cut straight from a guide that you have called the Calorie Cutter in your app. And I want to talk about these 2 pieces. This is how you can, this is going to be a really simple reminder for the OGs of this group. And for the newer guys, go and have a look at this resource, because these are the ways that you can make healthy eating really, really simple. So let's talk on the left-hand side. When it comes to meat, fish, poultry, trimming off the white fat, choosing leaner cuts, right? Having things like turkey bacon and shortcut bacon, not the big fatty pieces. Looking at extra lean mince and pork and chicken and turkey, rather than the fatty, disgusting, heavy beef stuff. Avoiding all the processed foods. The processed foods being the salami, the cabanossi and the like. With deli meats, super convenient. That can be roast beef, fat-free ham, silverside. Portion size. It should not look like a cow is sitting on your plate. It's going to be pretty hard to offset the amount of calories. Notice about the list that I just gave you there, nothing said starve yourself. Nothing said track your nutrition with MyFitnessPal. All I gave you was 7 or 8 tips where you still have the piece of meat, you just do it in a slightly better way. Let's talk about flavorings. Substituting, if you're making a recipe, sugar for something like monk sugar or stevia, which has no calories in it. You can become a king or a queen if you learn to flavor foods with spices and herbs rather than fat and sugar and oil. Makes a complete difference. If you're privy to a salad, you just go with something like lime juice or lemon juice. Perfect. We take out the mayo, the sweet chili, and we replace it with things like mustard or hot sauce. Much better in terms of the calories. And then in terms of, cooking, we need to make sure that we're not just dousing our things in oil. So again, the point is that you have to eat. Whether you want to or not, whether you're bored or not, you have to eat. The challenge is, in every moment you have an option. Let's talk about drinks. Yeah, you can drink less alcohol. You can swap to a lower calorie option. If you're going to drink alcohol, you need to be mindful of what you're pairing it with. If you're going to have a drink on the weekend or in between, it doesn't matter. Just don't compound the shitty drinking with the shitty food as well. So here's a great example. A lot of guys and girls will sit down and they'll have a bourbon and full strength Coke with a battered fish and chips at the pub. Now, okay, not a problem doing this a couple of times, but if you're repeatedly making that mistake, you can still have the same thing in a better form. So for example, let's have bourbon and soda or bourbon and Diet Coke or a low calorie beer, and let's have it with a steak and veggies. So even though you're still having dinner at the pub, which in the case of Tommy might be a really, really good option, it doesn't have to be a stack of crappy things where the calories pile up and compound. It can be just, you still do the same thing, but you just reduce the potency of the calorie intake that you're actually having. Let's look, for example, on the right-hand side at better options. Choosing tomato-based sauces over white sauces, right? Looking at your dairy products, not having full cream milk and instead having skim milk or almond milk. Maybe not having a whopping massive serve of noodles, with your spaghetti bolognese, and instead getting the veggies up. Trading in things like sour cream for yogurts. Having more vegetables on your plate. Again, these things don't require you going without. They require you to just do the same level of time investment, but just make slightly better choices. Let's get a bit more of a zoom on this. So desserts. Don't have things in your house when you're feeling tired and fatigued that you're just going to eat when things get tough, right? keep things on hand that are super, super convenient. So the typical staples that are in my fridge all of the time are cottage cheese, yogurt, eggs, beef jerky, protein bars, things that when I'm hungry, I'm going to naturally gravitate towards. And then guess what? At nighttime, I have a dessert every single night. And that dessert is going to oscillate between 2 or 3 things. I think about it. I'm thinking of Tommy here. He's sitting down with his partner Ange, and they've been having a tough day. They're doing the renos. They're covered in dust and shit, and they're feeling like, oh, I just want to sit down and have a beer. Cool. Sit down, have a beer, have a dessert, and here's how you would go about it. You would go and do a Halo Top instead of a Ben & Jerry's. Or you would go and have some yogurt with some fruit so you get your sweet kick. At the same time that you're doing that, you have a low-calorie beer. Or you have a gin and soda instead of a gin and tonic. Guys, the message that I want you to take out of this live is that healthy eating more often is about substitution, not subtraction. What do I mean by that? So many of us, the angle that we take is that, oh, I can't have that, 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 and now I'm hungry. Well, we're programmed as humans, when we lose something, we want to find it, right? So you create this void by giving up the thing that you think is your vice, but then you go and fill it with another thing. This is what happens when you just subtract things out of your life. The goal of our strategy in Better Body Academy is not for you to just delete everything and be hungry. That's not viable, and it never will be. The goal here is for you to be full all the time with foods that are more moderate in calories and filling. That's what you want. So it doesn't need to be this crazy articulate science of tracking with MyFitnessPal every single thing that goes in your mind. You just have to have a look. I'll give you another example. We've become, it's been cold here in Canada, and we've really been enjoying our slow cooked, shredded scenarios, right? So whether it be pork or chicken or whatever. I realized last week that I'm spending all this time trying to cut apart a pork shoulder that's marbled with fat and almost impossible to get everything off. It is impossible to get everything off. Why don't I just cook a pork tenderloin? Tonight, we're having slow cooked chicken breasts that are simply stuck in the slow cooker. We walk away, and then 8 hours later, we come back and they've melted, and we just shred them. That's it. There's literally nothing to it. You cook it in some stock, you walk away, and 8 hours later, it's ready. Guys, stop complicating this whole thing. Healthy eating is a lot simpler, but you've got to move past this block of, I have no time, therefore I can't eat healthy. Because that's a real victim mindset. And you guys, if you're in this program, are not victims, right? You are people who've made a decision that I'm not here for a diet. I'm here to change my approach into something that's going to work for me for the rest of my life. And that's how you do it. You still have the occasional indulgence, and it's not a problem. It's what you do the majority of the time. And if the majority of the time you're defaulting to, just the cheap, shitty, quick option that generally fills a hole, but not for long, and leaves you feeling crappy on the other side of it. Something I haven't even mentioned inside of this short episode is, have you guys noticed the difference in your mental health when you feed yourself really good food and you get out and exercise a little bit? Like, it's worlds apart. There's something about consuming good foods that makes you feel good separate to weight loss. So when you're feeling unmotivated, tired, and uninspired, the very worst thing you can do is compound that with something that makes you feel crappy. Instead, understand that, okay, I'm not having a really good day, I'm feeling a bit dicey, I'm feeling a bit run down, unmotivated, but I'm going to make the choice to take a simple, healthier option. And sometimes it's just literally going to be a packed salad with a slab of protein on top, and that's all you can muster up the effort for. No problems at all. Let's stop overcomplicating this, guys. So take this as your reminder this morning to go back to the most basic, simple system you can. If we're eating predominantly whole foods and we're cooking them in a pretty good way, take the pressure off yourself to be perfect when perfect is not needed. I hope this has been a helpful reminder, guys. I'll see you throughout the course of today.